Now we'll move on to the green cone. This is not a composter. This is a digester, meaning you aren't going to get a finished product to put in the garden, but we'll take all of your food scraps, including meat, bones, dairy, and oils. It sits in the ground, so you're basically going to put all your food scraps and only your food scraps. No leaves, garden trimmings, or paper towels. Nothing like that. So no browns, only strictly food scraps. So what has happened is that the way that it is shaped, the cones do provide some insulation or the air. So the black cone will go on the inside, all right? And the green cone will sit on the outside. And the air gets trapped in between the two cones. It'll heat up, warming the inside of the cone as well as provide insulation to keep the heat in. Last year, I took the temperature of this green cone and it registered about 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So that heat dehydrates all of the food, and then a certain community of microbes come in and eat up the dehydrated food. They won't produce compost because, as you guessed it, they won't have those browns to make the compost. This is an entirely different group of microbes than you would find in your compost piles. What they will do is break that food down into smaller molecules that will then wash away into the surrounding soil. But if you put your green cone near a garden, it is recommended that you put it next to a flower garden, not a food garden, because you could be adding raw meats, and this will ensure no harmful bacteria make it to your food garden. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the soil is sandy or at least well-drained soil. If you don't have well-drained soil, the green cone directions do provide different ways to create a well-drained site, or you can look it up online. Make sure it is sited in the full sun. We had our green cone sited along the tree line originally when there were no leaves on the trees. So it was sunny at the time. But once those leaves popped out, it became very shady and it did not work. So we had to move it over here. So the sun is necessary, and well-drained soil is a necessity too. All right, so you'll want to dig a hole in the ground. All right, whoops, don't do that. About 2.5 feet wide and 1.5 feet deep. I started to dig a hole earlier, so I'll continue on digging. The soil is very sandy, so this is a perfect spot for a green cone location. So once you get a bit dug out, you want to make sure that your basket fits. So make sure that happens. And then you can just flip your basket upside down to make sure that the diameter is good. And you want to continue on digging out the hole. So once the hole is dug, you're going to attach the cones to the basket using the provided hardware. Then the whole unit will sit in the ground. It will sit underground, including where the cones and baskets are attached. So many folks ask me if pests try to get into the green cone. I have not experienced that at all, and we have lots of pests hanging around compost. And thus far, no attempts have been witnessed. So once you get it all assembled, you can pop it into the ground, fill it in with soil, and you can begin digesting your food scraps and keeping them out of the landfill. With your green cone, you will be getting the Sandy Dandy Kitchen Food Scrap Collector. All right. Although it comes with it, it's a little weird shaped. I personally prefer to use something a little smaller, round, because it'll fit really nice in that hole. So that's how I roll. This is just an old ice cream container, but this will come with it. You'll get instructions on how to assemble it and use it, as well as some green cone accelerant. All it really is dehydrated microbes, that special community that is used for this kind of digestion, all right, not composting, so a little different.
makeup than what you would find in the backyard composting.
Okay, so once you have your green cone all set up and ready to use, now I'm going to demonstrate how one does it. It's pretty easy, and again, it is not a composter. It is just going to digest your food away. So you can put anything in here, meat, bones, dairy, oil, anything food related. You don't want to put any like paper towels or leaves or garden trimmings in here. You strictly want to use food, okay, like your food. So you're going to come down and you can see this little latch right here. I'm going to flip that open and I'm going to give you a little looky-see of what it looks like in here. All right, you can see a lot of mold. Oops, sorry. A lot of mold, all right, which is good. That's a good sign. All right, I am going to just add these food scraps. Now I'm just collecting these food scraps in an old ice cream container. All right, let's see if I can get this open with one hand. All right, the smaller the opening, the better, because this opening is not very big, and you want to make sure that when you're dumping it in, that it all fits nicely in there. Now, one of the things that I have discovered by using the green cone is that you want to wipe the rim off and the inside of the lid, because in this hot, warm summer, and this thing will kick up heat quickly, all right? And it's pretty toasty in there right now. But you want to wipe the rim off, because flies will get in there and it's nice and moist and they'll lay their eggs and you might come out to some surprises. So I just usually keep a cloth nearby or carry it with me, and then just take it and wipe the inside rim off and then wipe around the lid as well. All right. Once you add your food, you can take your magic powder here, the green cone accelerant, and just do a sprinkle dinkle do in there. Alright. So it's kind of like seasoning it up a little bit. You don't need a whole lot. If you run out of accelerant and you don't want to purchase anymore, I typically use just a handful of soil too. So there will be microbes in the soil around it that will be effective. So you can just do that as well. Close the bad boy back up and you are finito. And that is how you use the green cone.